So I figured I'd just go from like side to side and show you some of my most prized possessions. These are my teacups. I just sort of collect like basically mismatched, like the saucer matches with the teacup, but the rest of it is all mismatched. I don't have any sets at all. And it started off by just getting like one or two from a thrift store, and then I slowly just kind of collected more and more and more. And every once in a while I cruise through like old estate sales and stuff like that to see if I can find any more. And I love them to death. They're like one of my most prized possessions. You'll see them pop up in my Instagram like photos for my journals all the time. So yeah, that's kind of where it starts on the left hand side here. Then we have this old hutch. You back up here. Look at that glare. Isn't that beautiful? So basically this hutch, I recently got it from Craigslist. It used to be like brown and wood basically, and it was fairly old. I want to say maybe from like the 40s is what the owner told me. It belonged to her grandmother, and I stripped it completely and repainted it white and did a little bit of like distressing and all that kind of stuff. Tried chalk paint for the first time in my life. And it houses all of my yarn. Open it up here. Look at my soot sprites, aren't they so cute? A few of you might know this, but a lot of people probably don't. I do a lot of like textile work, so anything with yarn, anything like knitting, crochet, spinning, weaving, embroidery, sewing, anything that has to do with textiles, I kind of am involved in. So I own a lot of yarn, like a lot. Like this is maybe not even half of it. It's outrageous. And yeah, it's I haven't even bought any in years. People just keep on giving more of it to me, so it kind of accumulates. Down here are two out of my collection of 4 typewriters that I have. One of my brand new ones that I got from a thrift store for like $15, and I forget the brand of it. I know it's a Spanish brand, but whatever. It was this like hideous brown color, and I stripped it down completely, cleaned it out because it was just the absolute dirtiest thing I've ever seen, and put in a new ribbon, gave it a paint job, and it works like magic now. It's fantastic, absolutely one of the best I have. And next to it is my old Underwood. This is probably one of my most prized possessions. It came from a coworker who's had it sitting in his basement for like I don't even know how many years. And he's a very heavy smoker, so when he gave it to me, when I did a little bit of refurbishing on it, the hardest thing to do is to get rid of the smoke smell. It's still a little bit there. And this Underwood is dated from 1913, so pre-World War One, which is insane. Like, it's that old. And it still works, like, magnificently. Like, it will type. It's just incredibly difficult because you have to put so much pressure on the keys. I honestly don't know how anyone got anything done back then because it was such a pain in the ass to use. So that's my hutch. I love him. Gave him brand new handles and everything. It was quite the adventure. Down there is just more yarn, of course. This is just a ugly old bookcase, basically. Nothing really interesting. I just got it a little while ago, and I just need a little bit more storage space. And I'm planning to put doors on it, but other than that, it's just kind of there. I'm hoping to hide most of the garbage that's in there. You know how it is. So next up. So when I first got this room, the thing that annoyed me the most about it was this ledge. This ledge runs along this side of the room and the other side. And it means that you can't put anything up against it. Because if you want to put like a bookcase or something against it, you can't anchor it to the wall, and it just wobbles, and it's a complete and total pain in the butt, and I hate it. But I've learned to live with it because I kind of have to. And this is the wall that had the wallpaper, and it was this like ugly, like it looked like weeds actually, like it just looked like blue weeds all over the wall, and it got ripped down. And that took, oh my god, an entire week to do because the wallpaper was like 60 years old. So anyway, this is the little bookcase I made just a couple months ago for my journals because they were just lying around in boxes. So they finally have their own little space. I'm hoping to fill up both of those shelves pretty soon. Well, maybe like 5 years. I don't know. And down there is my handmade journals that are waiting for new owners. And this white thing, it looks like a pawn, like a chess pawn. It's not though. It's actually from the top of a banister for a staircase that I chopped off. Someone was just throwing their old stuff away, and I ended up with 4 of them. And I used it as a hat stand for when I take photos for Etsy. So yeah. And up there is Yorick. And up here is one of the weavings that I make. I've got 2 of them in this room, so I love them. They're really beautiful. And over here I have my wall of moths, including an embroidery that my best friend made for me, and a couple of vintage frames I got from garage sales. These guys here were actually alive once. They are silk moths, and they look like ghosts. They're so cool. I found them in a store that sells like silk yarn and fabric, and the owner said that she had a couple that had just passed away, and I ended up being able to take a few, which was a really awkward conversation. Like, hey, can I take some of your dead moths? It was bizarre, but she was like, yeah, absolutely. It was so cool. Over here, some of the cameras that I collect from secondhand stores for like really, really cheap. They're all film cameras, like old school, like black and white film cameras, and they all still work, but try buying film for them, like good luck. Over here, whoops, just stood on my chair, whoops. Up here is another camera. This one here is like the fold out one from like the 30s maybe. And I love it. It was also another find from a secondhand marketplace, and the guy gave it to me for super, super cheap because I didn't have any money left over. And he's like, oh, you seem really excited. You can just take it. And I was like, oh my God, this thing is like $200 on eBay, and he gave it to me for like $30. It was insane. Down here, some dried flowers. I collect lots of really weird stuff like moss and skeleton leaves and stuff from beaches, lots of crystals. All of these have like a very specific and important like meaning to my life. Like the rocks, the white rocks in that jar over there are from a beach in Quebec from when I did a trip down there with my school way back when. Each one is like totally significant to me, but in all honesty, they're all just junk. Over here is my rock collection. I've got lots of bismuth, lots of crystals and amethyst, quartz, pyrite, just like lots and lots. I love collecting rocks. I spend way too much money on them, but that's how it is, right? Let's see what else is up here. There's my other weaving. The rest of this corner is pretty boring. Over here is it's called a Monstera deliciosa plant. And you can also call it a cottage cheese plant because it's got the holes in the leaves. And I got it at a store that was shutting down. It was, they're usually like $60 or $80 because they're really huge and they, they're just really expensive. And the store, since it was closing down, they gave it to me for like $30. And it was maybe a third of the size it is now. So you can get a shot overhead. And I kind of nursed him back to health because he just wasn't looking too well. But in all honesty, it's been maybe like 3 months, and he is enormous. Like, I get why they call this a Monstera plant because it just won't stop growing. I chop off like 2 to 3 leaves every week, and it just keeps on giving me more. Like this guy right over here, brand new leaf. This guy right over here, they're called fenestrations, and they come out of the stem of the other leaves, and it just keeps growing more and more and more. It's insane. You can see it's all tied up down at the bottom so that it can grow up instead of out because it doesn't like taking directions as one does. This corner is pretty boring. Nothing too crazy, just a bookcase. I somehow managed to fit all of my stamps into that box right over there, which was insane. They took up like 3 boxes before, and I managed to destash so much of it. This guy here I made last summer, which is my washi tape like roller, I guess. This is maybe about half of my washi tapes. Down here is more yarn and more half-finished projects that I really should finish, but they're just chilling for now. That's how it is, right? And here, I'm probably not going to be able to get this all in one shot. It's my desk. Let me just move the chair. So last summer, some of you might remember, I posted some in-progress shots of how I refurbished this desk. That was another Craigslist find, and it's a secretary desk from the 1950s, and I love it to death. I completely stripped all of the paint, and started over, revarnished the entire thing. It's my prized possession, I tell you guys. It's the best thing ever. I got all of these compartments, all of this stuff. I can get almost anything I need within reach. There's tea. There's always tea. Lots of paper towels covered in paint as usual. All this stuff on top, yet more thrift store finds. There's Pix, the lamp, named after Pix, the Pixar lamp, of course. And this guy here, another thrift store find, which I managed to fit all of my inks into. They used to just be all over the place, and I finally got this guy, and it's been amazing. My markers, paints, all that good stuff. I built this little box for my stamps, and some more washi tapes as well. And yeah, again, all thrift store finds. And before I had this desk, I had this really ugly old, like, it was like a dining room tabletop that we screwed IKEA legs onto, and it was so shaky. Like, literally, you could just touch it and it would shake like crazy. It was awful. And ever since I got this, I'm not used to having like drawers. I keep like forgetting I have them because I didn't have them before. And yeah, so this desk has been just absolutely godsend. I love it. So that's mostly it. The rest is just decorations. There's a few things I'd still like to do. Like, I'd still like to put some more stuff into this corner. I'd like to decorate this wall a little bit more. I've got a couple paintings planned. That's most of it. There's some storage, some more storage down here, but it's all really ugly. It's basically just plywood on top of a couple boxes, and it has lots of fabric and all sorts of just stuff that I don't use as often. So yeah, that's basically this room. And yeah, there's a few tiny little things I like to do, but other than that, it's almost complete, and I love it so, so, so much. I'll try to post a few like before photos from what it looked like before I started the renovations about a year ago. And yeah, let me know in the comments which part you like the most. Because I'd really love to hear. Oh, and one last thing, that's where I take my Instagram photos. That little floral thing is actually a table that pops open, and I can just put it right next to the window or move it to wherever I need to go, take my photos, and then collapse it and put it away when I don't need to use it. So yeah, I'll take a video on how I take my photos at some other time as well. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. This is a really long video, and subscribe if you'd like to see more like artsy videos as well. And have a good day. See you guys later.